He represents a model of leadership, not just the fiery speeches that we know. Knowing all those schools of thought, all that study, all the travel to Africa, being able to then build relationships with all those different segments of our community. What are your thoughts on that? As you worked with him all those years, would you agree with that?
Brother, you have hit the nail on the head. Khalid Muhammad's the statements that are called inflammatory have really in history have overshadowed other aspects of Khalid Muhammad that must be appreciated much more. His fiery statements overshadowed his brilliance and depth in many areas, and we haven't had a man like that on the scene since. We haven't had, not just from the Nation of Islam, we haven't had in the black community a black man that could win the respect, as you say, of the Moors. He said in a speech for the Moors, I am a Moor, that could win with the respect of the Israelites, win the respect of the Muslims, both Nation of Islam and what they call Orthodox Muslim, that could win the respect of the Black Nationalists, of the political prisoners, of
hip-hop
Black
community,
Liberation Army types, the hip-hop types, all of that. We haven't had that. Now I say here in page 53 in the book of Khalid, I say it was the African-centered minister Khalid who would mount the rostrum with African robes and African attire. This was unheard of from the strict suit and bow tie wearing Muslims. From the rostrum, Khalid would illuminate the teachings of Elijah Muhammad and Louis Farrakhan from an African worldview. Referencing Kemet in Egypt frequently prove that the black man and woman are absolutely the mothers and fathers of mathematics, civilization, engineering, science, law, religion, and spirituality. Quickly, he said, yes, it was stated in the Supreme Wisdom lessons that the black man was the father of civilization, but it's Minister Khalid who could lay out the academic proof to support the Nation of Islam claims. Not just of Allah. Khalid Muhammad in the 80s spoke of the African gods Babalu Agyei, Ilegba, Oludumare, Obatula, Nkulu, Shango, Amen, Amen-Ra, Ptah, and the like. So Khalid, I say, would teach and enlighten audiences as they were glued to every word of his brilliant lectures. The Yoruba faith and tradition, Kemetic sciences, indigenous African spirituality, information from the Zulu to the Dogon were all part of the knowledge that Khalid Muhammad would be dropping. Right. He's a student of Dr. Clark. He's a student of Dr. Ben. He's a student of Dr. Kareem. But he's not just limited to that. Over here, we got another whole chapter called Public Enemy. And we detail a whole generation of youth that were absolutely glued and transformed by his magnetic presence and his magnetic words. I mean, we haven't had a leader that attracts the rappers like that since, you know, and that's Khalid Muhammad. So you got it on so many levels, brother. That's why I put the label of prophet on him, because he takes us to a level where those before him hadn't taken us to. And he was a master teacher. And so his brilliance, brother, in short, we could go on with it, but his brilliance, his ability to relate to the people, brother, I have not seen a man on the scene like that since. And that's what inspires me to do this work. The man is brilliant, and he's a part of the universal struggle of our people. That's why he's loved by so many.